What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Idiot Fitness Live every
Every
Sunday,
Sunday.
12 Eastern Time. Thanks for tuning in. Today we are talking about unlocking muscle growth. How negatives for hypertrophy. Jeez. What a start here, folks.
It's been a rough Sunday.
Whew, here we go.
But first, updates. What updates do we have for them, James?
Suzanne's peak week. So what's the name of that show?
Yeah, so next week our client Suzanne's competing in the NPC Warrior Classic out in Manassas. It's a super cool venue, you guys. I think it's set up for like UFC or something of that nature. So it is a really cool venue. And they have a Jumbotron backstage so that the athletes can see the other athletes on the stage while they're pumping up and all that, which is rare.
It is a cool venue, and it is set up for MMA. They do MMA tournaments, not UFC, but smaller leagues go there and do MMA fights there.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to seeing her up on that stage. That is actually our first athlete of the season kicking off. Then we have some other clients that are 8 weeks out for the OCB Conquer out here in Baltimore. So they're well underway. So that's exciting as well.
As far as I go, I'm down another pound. We got one more pound to go till I hit goal weight. I'm trying to do it. I don't know if you saw my post in the community, but I'm trying to do it without changing my calories. So 2,500 calories again this week, hoping to get to 210, drop one more pound. Here we go, baby.
Yeah, me on the other hand, I ended up gaining 2 pounds this week, you guys, which is crazy, but I do look more muscular. I think it's actually just a water retention thing. So I'm trying to figure that out. I actually, towards the end of the week, incorporated some more electrolytes through some EAAs into my diet, and I'm hoping that that can help rebalance the electrolyte and sodium balance in my body, as well as potassium, and hopefully I can get that water weight off.
Yeah, and I don't want to pause for a second. She said I'm looking more muscular. Even though I'm 2 pounds up, the scale is not the only thing you look at, y'all. That's how you take pictures. That's why you look in the mirror. That's why you track your progress. The scale is not the end all. It's what you look like. It's not what you weigh.
Yeah, and we get in our own head. That's why I'm like, hey, James, do I look the same, worse, or better than last week? And he'll usually give me his honest opinion. I won't get mad at him. So, yeah, that was both of us saying, hey, no, you actually look more muscular this week, so let's not sweat it too bad.
Right. You got to do that with clients and ourselves, and it is a head game, but don't sweat that scale, man.
In fact, I did have a client this week where, they're starting to worry 8 weeks out, like, hey, am I going to make it? You got to keep it in perspective and go back and look at photos. So I actually showed her the photo of what she looked like 1 week out from her last show compared to 8 weeks out. And we are far more muscular, far leaner, like bigger overall. So, the proof is in the photos, y'all.
Hey, Kylie's on. What's up, Kylie? Yeah. And the vino was waiting for us. Appreciate that vino, my man.
Well, thank you for everyone that tuned in. We are here every Sunday for you guys. We usually will pick a topic. Today, we're going to talk all about eccentric training. But you can, as always, ask us any questions you have. We'll get the answers to you in real time. So fire those away in the chat, even if they're not related to the topic.
Yep.
But today we are talking about eccentric training. So we'll really deep dive into kind of the science behind it and why it is such a effective hypertrophy technique. We'll talk a little bit about, the benefits of that, how you can work that into your programming day to day, and just our own personal experience with eccentrics.
And Camille's talking a lot better than me today, so she's going to have to take the lead on this one.
Yeah, so thank you for tuning in. Let's get into the topic. So what is eccentric training? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Me to answer that?
Yeah, why don't you go for it?
Eccentric training is lowering the weight.
Yeah, so give us an example with an exercise.
Okay, so your curls here. The eccentric part is you lowering the bar back down. That's the eccentric part of the exercise, lowering the weight.
Yeah, so all lifts have 3 portions. There's the concentric, which is you curling those dumbbells up. The isometric, which is the pause part. And then the lowering part is the eccentric part, and that's the portion we're going to actually talk about today and how that contributes to hypertrophy. So yeah, you explained it in the curl, like in the bench press, for instance, that's like when you're bringing the bar down to your chest.
Yep.
If you were doing like a barbell squat, that's you kind of squatting into the bucket.
Yep. It gets a little confusing with lat pull downs because you're raising the weight, but raising it, you're letting it down.
Right. Yeah. So that one's maybe opposite of how you would think about it. You know, tricep push down on a bar, right? It's the raising. So again, it's kind of backwards from maybe some of the other ones. But those are just some examples of different lifts and what the eccentric part would be. So the interesting thing about eccentrics is the fact that it is focusing on the lengthened part. And there's been a lot of studies recently, actually, and they show that out of the 3 portions of the lift, you have the most potential for gains in the eccentric part because you can build a lot of mechanical tension compared to the other phases of the lift.
Yeah, I believe this science been around since the 70s, and they still preach it. You know, it should be publicized over and over and over as much as the science is out there and how much is proven with it. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I believe it was maybe Arthur Jones that really made it popular. I mean, I do think it's been kind of around since the 50s, but in the 70s, when Arthur Jones came out with Nautilus machines, there was a lot more focus on eccentric training all of a sudden. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at science, it's just proven.
Yeah, so let's talk about like that ability to have that controlled tension. A lot of what I think about when I think of eccentrics is the ability to create passive tension. So in a way, you guys, your muscles kind of act like little springs. They want to resist in like recoil, right? That's like what they're doing. So like on a deep structural level, you have structural proteins and they stretch out and move around in order to build that tension, to move the weight, to get the muscle to do what it needs to do. So yeah, those fibers are constantly lengthening and resisting and working together to create that tension for you.
Yes, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but you're also the strongest as you're lowering the weight. You can lower a whole lot more weight than you can lift up, y'all. So that is a negative. That's one way to do it. Just put more weight on the bar than you can actually lift. Get your partner to lift it for you, and then you lower the weight.
Right. Yeah, you jumped the gun a little bit. That's actually considered like a forced rep, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But yeah, so eccentric training is really great because you can create more time under tension. Like you can slow down that particular phase of the rep, take 3 to 5 seconds to lower that weight. And so you're creating all that mechanical tension throughout that 3 to 5 seconds.
And you're going to make so much more gains doing it that way, y'all. Just, you know, just dropping the weight, boom. You're literally missing out on a third of your reps. I know we're all geeked up. I know we want to fly through it. And I always have to remind myself to slow down as well.
Right.
Just slow it down. Slow that weight down. It's not a race. You're there to make muscles, right? We're not racing through this.
Right.
Lower that weight slowly.
So one of the things that actually helps me to remember to focus on the eccentric part is to do a 1 second pause for the isometric phase.
Nice.
So like if you're squatting, I will actually stop all motion for a split second before I do the lowering. Well, that is the lowering part, but before coming back up. But just having that trigger in there with the different lifts, I think it really helps you to focus on it.
Yeah, I mean, I need to be constantly reminded, slow down. Because like I said, I'm flying. I got my pre-workout going. I'm rocking and rolling. Slow down.
Yeah, so like on the lat pull down, I'll pull it down, pause, and then take my time, 3 to 5 seconds. What's up, Angel? Good morning.
Angel's on. What's up, Angel? Welcome back, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, there's a lot of benefits, I think, to eccentric training for hypertrophy and strength too, honestly.
Sure. It's a strength, it's a plateau buster.
Yeah.
If you're stuck on your bench, do some negatives.
Yeah.
It's going to help you get stronger.
I do think that the eccentric phase creates the most damage. That's because we're able to create so much more tension. We're also creating the most damage.
That's been proven. Yes, you are correct. And what do we want? We want the damage.
We want the trauma.
We want the trauma. You got to activate satellite cells, or you didn't create hypertrophy. So you want that damage. You want to create that damage so you can activate a satellite cell.
Right. So yeah, you're getting all those little micro tears in the eccentric phase specifically. I mean, and we're not really saying don't focus on the other portions of the lift. They're still important. Like I said, I like focusing on the isometric too, but definitely don't want to be just blazing through the eccentric portion.
Big T's on. What's up, Big T? Welcome back, baby.
Yeah. I also think another benefit of doing eccentrics is the ability to control and stabilize. So you're actually focusing on form, you're refining those like movement mechanics because you're taking the time to think through it, and it's a lot friendlier on your joints than just bouncing weights around. So yeah, especially in some of the lifts, I have a tendency to want to like snap elbows and stuff. So slowing everything down is a good idea for sure. What else? I think it's also a very efficient use of a load. So what I mean by that is, like, even though maybe fewer motor neurons are needed during the eccentric phase, you're still recruiting a whole lot of muscle fibers and at least a greater adaptation.
Absolutely. You're going to recruit more fibers on your negative portion of your rep. If you do it correctly. If you're not dropping the weight, you are going to recruit more muscle fibers, make more muscle fibers, fire. Jeez, I'm on fire today. And remember, your muscle fibers fire in all or nothing fashion. So the more you can get to fire, you want more of them to fire. If they don't fire, they're not doing anything. They're dormant. So you have to make them fire to get those gains.
Yeah. And then we already talked about the benefits for doing more time under tension. You know, that slow, deliberate, negative really just helps to extend your set. So you're getting more quality into the workout.
Correct. So I guess we're going to get into that. There's two different ways to do these negatives, right? One is at the end of the set, just like Camille said, extend the set. So you hit failure. Now you get a couple forced reps. Your partner lifts it, and then you lower it slowly down, right? That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is overload the weight. Have a weight that you cannot lift without a partner, and then do that first for a couple of reps. You're not doing that at the end of your set.
Right.
That is your set. So for me, my bench is around 405. I would put 450 on the bar, do a negative, have Camille lift it up. Boom. Of course, I'm helping.
Yeah, make sure your spotter can lift it up.
Do it again. Lower it as slow as you can. This is going to get your nervous system used to that heavier weight.
Right.
Your nervous system's going to eventually go, oh, I felt this before. I know what this feels like. I'm going to go ahead and lift it this time instead of just lowering it down. Boom. Right?
Yeah, I think those are great ways to incorporate them into your workouts.
Yes. One thing I've tried and recently, so I haven't put enough time in to tell you if it's worth it or not, is to start the set with a negative that's too heavy to lift, do the set, and then extend it with negatives at the end of the set.
Nice.
So you're starting with negatives and you're ending with negatives. Ooh, baby.
Yeah, my implementation of this is a little different than that because I just put like a 3-second negative or focus, not negative, focus, eccentric in there. So I'm just changing the tempo of the reps, but specifically
every exercise,
yeah. So that's kind of how I incorporate it. And if James happens to be there when I'm working out, I'll do some forced reps, negatives. But most of the time, I'm just really controlling that tempo throughout my entire workout.
Yeah, I guess I got to back up. It is an intensifying technique, and it is a normal tempo of your rep, how you should do. Both of those are negatives.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not used to doing this, I would start by just adding in a longer eccentric focus set for 1 to 2 of your exercises per workout, and then see how you feel. You're probably going to find you can't lift the same weights that you did before you were really focused on the negatives. So yeah, you're going to have to lighten it.
Yeah, you're going to feel differently. I do drop sets on the bench press quite often, and I go from 400 pounds down to 135. But I used to just bang them out, bam, bam, try to get through that drop set because it hurts. Man, on that 135, if you slow that down and get that, my goodness, that's fire.
It is.
It is fire. It's the end of the drop set, and it is absolute fire. I'm burning. I'm going, oh man, it just hurts. You can feel the gains already.
Yeah, I do this a lot too with my clients. Like I'll slow them down. I'll actually count. That way they can't get ahead of me. Like 1, 2, 3, pause, up. And yeah, they really don't like that very much on the raising and lowering part.
And cadence.
But sometimes it does help to like actually say the cadence out loud, because naturally you think in your mind it's taking, you're a lot faster than,
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Instead of 1, 2, 3, you're like 1, 2, 3. So for sure, it definitely helps to say it out loud sometimes. What are some other practical ways to incorporate it, do you think?
I think we hit it. A big one is pull-ups and chin-ups. If you can't do a pull-up or a chin-up, your first move is do the negatives.
Yeah.
Get a chair, get a bench, get whatever, get yourself here on the bar, and just lower yourself slowly all the way down.
Yeah, I'll actually expand that a little bit. I would say incorporating eccentrics would be really great for all of your compound lifts.
Sure.
So your bench, your squat, your deadlift, anything compound, I would start there. Because I mean, if you're watching our channel, it's because you want hypertrophy, you want bigger muscle. So why not focus on the biggest, nastiest lifts?
Yeah, you're here for the gains, baby. Get those gains.
Yep. Angel says slow and controlled with a full stretch. You got it, Angel. Absolutely.
In the lengthened position. You are correct. Angel's on it, baby.
Yeah, that's what makes eccentric training like so effective. It's because you are in the lengthened position.
Yeah, I mean, there's study after study after study, and it's been a couple years, probably 10 years now. I got a book. I forget the book. It said it's focus on the eccentric training. And then I went right to Mike Mentzer's book. It said focus on the eccentric training. And then I watched a YouTube video and it said focus on the eccentric training. I said, holy smokes. All right. So picked up on that one. Ever since then, I got to, every time I walk into the gym, slow down, James. Slow down. Hey, that's great. You can jerk 300 pounds up. Can you lower it slowly?
Right. Yeah. We talked a little bit about this, but there are safety considerations that you want to use when you're doing this. So,
oh my goodness, you're talking about a weight you can't lift.
Yeah. So use a spotter or use a machine. Like Smith machines are really great for this because you can just hook the bar and, you have little.
Get a spotter still. Even on a Smith machine, get yourself a spotter. I don't care if you have to ask somebody at the gym you don't know. You get a spotter.
What was I doing the other day? I actually needed your help. It was really funny. It might have just been like shrugs, not anything to do with eccentrics, y'all. I was like doing some really heavy Smith shrugs. I'm all strapped up and everything, and I'm like shrugging away. And then all of a sudden, like I'm at failure, and I go to hook the bar, but because of how I was strapped in there, I couldn't rotate my wrist, and I was just like, help.
I had to go hook the bar.
You had to go hook the bar, but yeah.
Big T said this is getting me motivated, heading to the gym for chest and triceps. My man, blow it up, T. Tear them chest and triceps out.
That's right. Add some eccentrics in there, Big T.
Yes, get your negative bench press, baby.
For sure. I think there is some recovery considerations that you guys are going to want to use if you're going to start doing more eccentric training. For one, you need to acknowledge the fact that extra muscle damage means extra soreness.
Correct. And
the work can really lead to that delayed muscle soreness. So it might be a couple days.
You're going to be sore. You are going to be very sore if you do this correctly. And you should be. This is what we're here for. This is the gain train, baby.
Yeah. In fact, if you train a muscle group and you're like, yeah, I always train shoulders and they never get sore, try doing those eccentrics. I guarantee you, like a day, 2 days from now, you're going to be like, yeah, they're actually sore for the first time. So yeah, you're going to have to prioritize some recovery strategies. And we've talked about tons of different techniques and strategies for recovery.
It's another video.
Yeah. You want to make sure you're eating a lot too. Anytime you're doing one of these intensifying techniques, if you're trying to gain muscle, make sure you have the proper nutrition. It's going to go hand in hand to make it effective. And then, consider your supplements, right? Like we're causing an inflammatory response in our body. So, we want to make sure we're taking all the good supplements for joint health and the like.
Just make sure it doesn't interfere with your recovery.
So what would be like a good routine? Let's walk them through a routine. You can pick, let's say, well, Big T's doing chest and triceps. So let's talk about that. Like, how would we go about that?
Big T says hydration is key before you get into these intense workouts. You are correct, sir.
Absolutely.
Study after study says if you're not hydrated, you're not going to perform at your peak.
Yeah.
So make sure you're hydrated
before, during, and after. And I want to emphasize the during part.
Absolutely. So for chest and tris, some things I would do. I already said the negative bench. I would go ahead and start that. Start with all the weight I couldn't use if I have a partner.
Okay, so you would go in and you would do how many reps? Like 1 rep?
4.
So 4 reps.
Yep.
Weight you can't do, controlling like that 3 to 5 second lowering. And then what do? Do you lighten your bench, or you just say, that's it for bench? I did my, how many sets do you do it like that?
I would do 1.
Okay, so 1 all out set.
Yep.
4 reps.
After that, I go to dips.
Okay.
And then I would go to failure and then do 3 or 4 negatives at the end where you jump up and then lower yourself slowly to extend the set for the negatives. Then I'll go to incline. I wouldn't do any overload weight I couldn't use anymore, but I would probably do a couple of negatives at the end of the incline bench just to make sure you got it in there. And then at the tricep, obviously you'd have to go to close grip or a pin press. You're not going to do a negative on a pin press.
I think that's actually pretty nasty. I would probably go to an isolation at that point. Like, you've done a lot of compounds, and if you're not used to doing eccentrics, I would probably do like a tricep push down, and I would just control the rep tempo, really close at the end there.
Yes. I mean, you start off with 3 intensified techniques. That's probably plenty. You probably create enough damage with that right there, and then finish off with some isolation, like you said.
Yeah, so hopefully that helps, Big T. That's how we would go about a chest and tricep workout with working the eccentrics in there.
So I told you at the beginning, I've been doing the negative, the overload, the set, and then finishing it with a couple reps. So example, I do it on the preacher curl.
Yeah, I love that one.
Be very, very, very careful. Do not rip your bicep.
Yeah.
This is a slow, controlled movement. If nobody's there, okay, I have to heave it up, but I'm not jerking that weight up, right? Get it up. Heavy, heavy weight I can't curl, so I lower it down as slow as I can, usually 30 to 40 seconds. Immediately lightweight, 10 reps, 6 to 10, whatever it is that I fail at, and then the partner forces the reps for about 3 or 4 more.
Right.
I've been doing that on preacher curls for a minute now, so.
Yeah, for me to do negatives on there, tip for you guys, if you're doing like easy bar or something like that, I just stand up and curl the bar and then sit back down with it. That way I'm not like trying to cheat it up. Yeah, that's how I cheat it up instead of like jerking it in that preacher curl position. I think it's a little more controllable.
When you're talking about biceps, do not jerk the weight. Do not jerk the weight. That's how most tears happen with a bicep, and you're already at a stretch position, which is where most tears happen on a bicep. So make sure you do it smoothly, y'all. Do not jerk that weight up. You're going to be sorry if you do.
Yeah. So you've talked quite a bit about like forced negatives and forced reps and all that. So let's actually talk about the difference between eccentric lifting, negatives, and forced reps, because they're a different thing. So eccentric lifting is just kind of like how I was saying that I train, where I just focus on 3 to 5 second lowering portion of the breath.
Yes.
So that's just what eccentric means.
And that should be done on every single rep.
Every single rep, every single exercise. In fact, if you've never done that and you've just been rushing through those sets, like, I would start there. Fix that and then do these other things.
You don't need the intensifying techniques if you haven't been doing it at all. Start off with doing the negative portion of the rep. Worry about the intensifying techniques in a couple months.
Right. So then there's a negative, which this means you're kind of cheating your way through the eccentric portion of that rep and just focusing on the lowering part. So for instance, if I were doing like barbell curls, I would cheat them up and then I would lower it slow. And so maybe I would do, 3 to 4 at the end of my set, something like that, kind of extending the set.
Yep. Yeah. Great intensifying technique. Great way to extend the set.
Yeah. And then you have force reps, where it's like, hey, I'm curling a weight. Like, there's no way I could curl it, not even like cheat it up. I have James help me lift it into position, and then I control the negative part.
Yep.
So those are like the 3 differences.
Yes. And they're all very good techniques to use. And the one should be used always. You lower the weight 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Always. All right, we got a question. Anthony McReynolds Jr. Thoughts on push-pull legs and repeat days? We get this one a lot, baby. All right, Anthony. So if you're a beginner, I think it's fine. It's a wonderful split. Push-pull legs, it's a great split for beginners. If you got a couple of years under your belt, you're going to have to switch it up to a 5-day split because you're going to fatigue before you're able to stimulate 2 different body parts in one workout.
Right.
As an intermediate and advanced lifter, you need to do 1 body part a day because you're not going to be able to get the intensity to do the 2 body parts without fatiguing first. As a beginner, you can do it.
All right.
You can do the push-pull split. As an intermediate and advanced, I think you need to split it up 1 body part a day.
Yeah, even our clients, we might start them that way, but ultimately they end up in a more aggressive split where it's either 4 or 5 days in there. So yeah, I think you got to be careful when you're doing forced, like negative reps and forced reps, especially the forced reps.
You got to be very careful.
Very, very careful. Like if anything feels off, don't even push it.
And
like,
you better,
don't even push it.
Yeah, you better have a spotter who knows what they're doing, y'all. And don't, I always say don't go to failure on where you can't do it safely. Don't do a negative where you can't do it safely, y'all.
Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't even do a force rep until you've hit a plateau, and then you're trying to bust past that plateau. Then I would get your partner and try doing some force reps.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think eccentric training's fun. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a challenge if you've not been lifting that way. So I really like slowing that tempo down and focusing on those negative portions. I feel like you have better mind-muscle connection with the tissue.
Agreed.
When you do that.
Agreed. It gets a lot of disrespect because, when you're lifting weights, you record your weight and how many times you lifted it. You don't record how many times you lowered it, right? So, and it's counterintuitive, right? Common sense tells you lifting the weight is what you got to do to build the muscle.
Right.
But science says lowering the weight is what you got to do to build the muscle. So, especially beginners, you see them coming in, banging out the weights, throwing the weights around. And it's good and it's motivating. And they're just, Wah! But if you want hypertrophy, slow that down. Lower the weight. Feel the weight lower. Feel the muscle work while you're lowering the weight.
Right. All right. Anything else on that topic?
That was a short one if we're done already.
Yeah. I mean, I really have enjoyed incorporating it into my workout regimen and my clients. I think they see a lot of gains when they focus on it. So there's definitely something there if you're trying to build bigger muscles.
Yes. And to be extremely clear, let's recap one more time. There's 3 different ways. 3 different ways?
Yeah, I would say there's just eccentric lifting in general.
Which should be done
Always.
Rep. Every single rep, you lower the weight slowly, 2 to 3 seconds. What's the other?
There's negatives, which is a great way to extend your set.
So you force reps at the end of your set. So you hit failure, then your partner lifts the weights as you lower it.
Well, I would say you could just cheat the weight up sometimes. And then there's forced reps where it's like, yeah, your partner's helping you lift a weight you can't do at all.
So what you've done here, y'all, is you've gone to positive failure. You haven't gone to negative failure yet.
Right.
You can still slowly lower that weight. So go to positive failure, then go to negative failure where you can't even slow that weight down anymore. It's just, that's all you got, right? That's absolute failure. That's true failure. That is muscular failure. That's going to get you your gains. That is going to blow you apart.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt like crazy. You're probably going to have tears in your eyes. You might have blood coming out of your nose. If you do this correctly, it is absolutely nasty and you will force your body to grow.
Yeah, I would, like we said, do the eccentric lifting always. I would do the negatives, like, pick an exercise or 2 every workout. That's fine. And then the force reps, I would only do on occasion when you're stuck. But focusing on the eccentrics always and the negatives for 1 or 2 exercises helps send that signal demand to your nervous system saying, hey, it's time to adapt. You know, Camille's asking me to do more and more and more. So you definitely want that.
Right. You want the compensation to that weight, to them negatives, to them force reps. And that's size of strength, baby.
We got a question.
Hey, David McKell, aka Blue Splash. I like it. What are your thoughts on supersets and drop sets? I know they force a lot of blood and fatigue to the muscle and shock it. Do you use these methods every week or certain times? Supersets I use all the time, bro.
Yeah, 88's kind of known for superset training. We love our supersets.
Supersets I use all the time. Drop sets I'm not going to say all the time, but often.
Yeah, I'll pick 1 or 2 exercises, whichever ones I really want to focus on. I'll do that.
I like to hit a drop set to end the workout because it's just so taxing and burns so bad, and it just, you're pretty much going to be done after a drop set if you do it correctly anyway.
Right.
So I would do that at the end of the workout, maybe twice a week, maybe.
It's a great way to get extra volume in too. Like, so sometimes if I have a client that doesn't show up on time or something like that, we are just hammering the supersets, giant sets, drop sets, so I can cram the volume that we need for adaptation in there. Yeah.
And I like the supersets, and I think you can do them all the time. And we like to, at 88, we like to superset compound with isolation. So there's a lot of people out there that tell you can't get hypertrophy unless it's isolation exercise, which is complete crap. But you get the best of both worlds if you're supersetting a compound and isolation, because you're going to failure on both. You're hitting the big compound move, and then you're isolating the muscle. I mean, it's a very good and effective technique. And it keeps it exciting. You know, straight set to 10 get boring real quick, man. Real quick. I mean, I love it, and I'll grind out the straight sets of 10 as long as that's in my program for as long as it's supposed to. But it gets old pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that allows us to have some creativity where we can kind of work in some, you know, fun exercises that we know are fun, but not necessarily like that effective. It gives us an opportunity to like try them out without like throwing the whole workout out too.
Sure, and you can switch it up, keep it fresh. You know. Dumbbell flies, cable flies, band flies, however flies you want to do. It's still isolation chest movement, right?
Yeah, it's a great question, David.
That is a great question, yeah. That's fantastic. But, you know, once again, these are going to affect your recovery. And if you're throwing negatives in with the workout as well, just realize you're going to have to recover from those workouts because you're going to tax your body, baby.
So, yeah, I encourage you guys to go and experiment this week if you have not been really, or at least pay attention to the eccentric phase and see how long you're actually taking to do that lowering portion. If you're just like, bam, lowered, then hey, maybe switch it out and do that 3 to 5 second eccentric.
Yeah, I mean, and go to the gym and get it done. Don't sweat. You know, I'm not doing the eccentric part that much. Adjust as you go. You know, I told you all in the Army when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what a negative was. I didn't know what eccentric rep was. Was I lowering the weight as slow as I should have? No.
Yeah.
Was I still making gains? Yes. And you learn as you go, right? So get in there. Don't use it as an excuse. I don't know what eccentric lifting is.
Right.
Don't use it as an excuse not to go to the gym. Get yourself to the gym. Worry about the eccentric lifting as you go. You can adjust fire. Just get to the gym and go.
Right. So Anthony says, so on chest day doing supersets, would you do chest and chest workout or chest then tricep workout?
All right, Anthony. So we just had this push-pull split question. So I answered that with training one body part a day. So I'm doing chest and chest, baby. Triceps is a whole different day. But I'll do tricep and tricep. So, for example, dips and press downs.
Right.
Or dips and overhead extension. But I'm always doing the same body part.
Yeah. A lot of times on chest day, it's like barbell bench press, and I might have some dumbbells sitting right there, right into like a dumbbell fly or even like a hex press or something like that.
All right. MP, I just eat at a caloric deficit to stay at a healthy weight. Exercise aside from going fishing, LOL, is no fun for me. You might have the wrong channel, MP.
Yeah.
And if you're at a deficit, you should be losing weight, not maintaining, brother.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be staying at a healthy weight. You should be losing weight at a deficit. All right, Mark, what do you think of static holds and isometrics on no lift days? Oh, if it's a rest day, Mark, I'd rest, brother.
Yeah, I would rest too.
Those static holds are if you hold them to failure. Ooh,
that's nasty. I would work that into your actual lift day.
Right? So we talked about it on the preacher curl with my first rep. That's a static hold. I get it up and I hold it as long as I can. As I'm failing, it's also negative, but it's static hold because I'm fighting it. It's 30 to 40 seconds for me to lower that weight. That is static hold, and that is an absolute nasty intensifying technique.
All right, so I'm assuming MP keeps it tight during the week and splurges a little on those fishing trips. So that's what I'm guessing is going on there.
Not a bad technique.
No. Yeah, it definitely helps you maintain a healthy weight.
Yeah.
So that's good. Good thing.
And MP, lifting weights is not fun for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people hate it, but they love the results. There was Nasser El-Sambadi. He finished third in the Olympia, said, I hate lifting weights, man. I go in there and I beat myself up. It's hard work. I hate doing this crap. But look in that mirror, baby. I love what I see. And I just got third place in the Olympia. So that's why people lift. Even though it's not fun for a lot, even though it sucks for a lot,
right.
The results is why you lift.
Yeah, I'm more like that. Like, I don't necessarily like doing the actual work. I like the aftermath. Like, I'm hobbling around all sore. And then, like, you know, looking back at pictures. Like, that's my favorite part about lifting.
I like to lift these days. It's my therapy. You know, I get in there and work my demons out. So I love it.
It's a great stress reliever for sure.
The days I can't lift, I don't even feel the same. You know, rest days, I'm like, come on, man.
That's why you're still at the gym doing yoga, stretching, foam rolling, cardio. True,
but I'd rather be there lifting.
Yeah.
But don't skip your recovery, y'all.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a little bit older now, so I have to do a little more recovering. So, all right, MP, I'm sure metabolically I could be better if I exercise, but you'd be better on everything, brother. Metabolically, healthy, you know, all the benefits. That's why you do it.
Well, casting those fishing lines and reeling stuff in, I don't know. Like, that's a lot of work, too, depending, like, what kind of fishing you're doing.
Get a marlin out there. You're going to fight it, baby.
Yeah. So I don't see Aileen on, but confession time, we did not try the baking soda, y'all. We've been talking about this for, like, a month. I'm embarrassed.
We're
like
terrible.
Totally embarrassed. But Aileen, when you watch this, I actually got the baking soda out of the cabinet. So I'm going to go ahead and sit this right next to the pre-workout. So we are going to try the baking soda for reduced muscle soreness tomorrow.
All right. Angel says having sore legs is not fun when you have to go up and down stairs all day.
That would not be fun.
Man, I don't mind training legs. I love deadlifts. I love squats, but man, do I hate the next 3 days.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I love it. I'm like, yes, it hurts to sit down.
Nope. Body hurts, hurts to move, hurts to stand up, hurts to step, hurts to go to the bathroom, hurts to get out of bed. Nope, not loving it.
I'm good until it hurts when I'm trying to sleep. And it's like impeding me from falling asleep because I'm so sore laying there. Like, that's when I don't like it, but the rest of the time I'm like, yes.
Yeah. To tie that into today's subject, I finished my squats with a 1 negative. So you hear me say all the time, safely, right? So I put the safety bars way up high. I'm not going to say way up high, but I know exactly where to put them. So I just lower the weight all the way down, let it sit on the bar.
And then you just sit down.
And I just crawl out the back. Correct.
Crawl out the back.
And it's a weight that I can't lift. So all I do is lower as slow as I can. Now, this ain't a 30, 40-second lower like the preacher curl. It's more like a 10-second lower.
Why not? It can't be biased. I hear some bias going on here.
I mean, I could lighten the weight and do a 30 to 40-second one, but we're talking 500-600 pounds on my back now.
That's a lot.
And then just bring down super slow, set it on the safeties, get yourself out.
I like that. I like that.
That's how I've been finishing my squats. I didn't do it last week because I was on post, but when I'm home, that's how I finish my squats every single workout.
Yeah, I extended my set on Bulgarians this week. That's why my legs were just like destroyed. But I was doing Bulgarian split squats, Like I always do kind of a 3-second lowering phase. I actually did a drop set, and then I did like slow negatives to like end it. It was nasty, y'all.
It sounds nasty.
It was nasty.
So Camille's doing negatives, her leg workout. I'm doing negatives, my leg workout. What do you think we're all focusing on, y'all?
Well, legs. It's like the hardest, most stubborn thing. Like I am just not gifted in the leg areas. If it's back and bicep, I've been blessed by, you know, the iron gods, but not legs.
Me too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I got haven't been blessed with genetics in the legs. I have upper body, but the legs got skipped. I really got to work hard, hard work. And they still aren't growing like they should be. But we'll keep hammering them. We'll keep at it.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited to like start this cut and lean out, because it's been years of just hammering these things. It's like, let's get down to a stage leanness to see, hey, did I actually build some substantial mass the way I've been hoping? So
Danique,
what's up, girl?
Danique?
Y'all, Danique's been blessed by the leg gods. I'm just telling you, like this girl's got some wheels on her.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see her at the OCB Conquer. She's going to be your next OCB Figure Pro. I have no doubt.
I would put money on it. Danique posed with us yesterday, and she looks outstanding. And they're 8 weeks out, so she's ahead of the game
she's
already.
She's going to be shreddy. Yes.
And she looked fantastic yesterday. Keep it up, Danique. You look fantastic, girl. You're looking at that pro card, man.
For sure. All right. Angel says, have you been doing the leg curls like I mentioned? You'll have to tell everyone what that is.
They're just starting to work with me. Oh, I don't remember the leg curls you mentioned, brother. Do you?
I don't either, but he did mention this last week. You are very welcome, Danique. Yes. I'm serious. Like you can tell you put some time in.
Yes.
I've seen her videos on Instagram as well. Like you're pushing some serious weight on that leg press, girl.
So over the years, when you watch a competitor and they do everything correctly, they usually make it to the top. It's the ones that say, oh, well, I missed my supplement yesterday, 2 days this week. Oh, I'm running 10 minutes late. Oh, I'm going to be 15 minutes late. You know, these are little things that add up.
Sure.
The competitors do everything right are the ones that climb that ladder.
Yeah, I love working with them. They're just so passionate about what they do, so disciplined. It's honestly motivating for sure.
It is. When you get a good competitor that listens, does everything right, and you're watching them go, you're going, oh, yeah, man, let's go.
Toes in, heels out.
Yes, I did that a while back. Yes, I did try that. Pretty nasty, and I got very, very, very sore from it because I don't normally do that.
What got sore?
My hamstrings.
Okay, like were they sore in maybe a different spot than normal, or just overall they were just sore?
So no, they weren't sore in different spots, but as I was doing it, turning my feet, I could feel the muscle working in different spots.
Okay. I've been doing a lot of leg curl leaning forward where I kind of come up and I'm grabbing the handles like this.
For the contraction.
Yeah, it forces your legs to go, your knees are further out than where the pivot point is for that cam. And I feel the hamstrings a lot lower, like at the closer to where the knee is versus where the glutes are. Okay, so yeah, in fact, sometimes I'll superset. So I'll be laid back, do 10, sit upright and do 10, and then you feel your hamstrings are wrecked the next day. Yeah. So Angel, if you haven't tried that, try the forward leaning hamstring curls.
Yeah. And I do, I experiment a lot at home, but I worked out on post, like I said, legs last week on post, which is a rarity, but I did the prone leg curl, which we don't have at home. So my hamstrings were already blown apart. Hurt.
I still don't like that one, but that's just me.
I love it.
I think a lot of people arch their lower back too much, and they're pulling with like the wrong thing, and so I think there's too much room for a mistake there.
If you try to go too heavy, you're gonna mess that up. But if you're doing it right with the isometric hold and slow negative, you're not gonna go too heavy.
Yeah, that is nasty. I do like it, especially if you have a partner. Man, they can like lift that pad up on the leg curl, the prone leg curl, and let you do the negative. Woo, baby.
Ooh, yes.
We used to do that a lot together when we would go to the Purple Palace.
Oh man, leg day, baby. All right. You want to try this name?
Ketosin?
Ketosin. Hopefully we're saying
We
that right.
probably did not say that right.
Late 40s here, 3 to 4 heavy sets, 8 to 12 reps, training days each week, just supplementing 5 grams of creatine daily.
Very good.
And a recommendation on supplement protocol that you may have tried and worked for you. Ooh, baby, we got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, we have a lot of videos on supplements. In fact, we were just talking about we probably need to do another supplement review for you guys. It's been a little bit.
It is.
Which ones we like.
So right off the top of my head, you need BCAAs, you need EAAs, you need protein, creatine. I'd throw, since you're late 40s, fish oil, glucosamine, and a vitamin.
Right. Multivitamin.
That's just off the top of my head. I mean, we could probably add a whole bunch to that, but that's going to cover your basics.
Right.
And if you just started creatine, you're on a good
path.
Good path. Keep it up. Creatine's number one. You got the first one. Keep it up, baby. And remember, supplements aren't magic. They're just going to help.
Right.
You know, what used to take 12 months, you can do in 10. But believe me, they're not magic, right? All right. Angel said, I need to try it. How's the stretch feel? I love it. On the prone leg curl, I absolutely love it.
You got to set it up right. So make sure you take the time, Angel, to like make sure the pad's at the right spot, like over the Achilles, that your knees are like the right distance off the edge of the pad. Yep. So take the time, make sure it's set up right, and that you have enough stretch. A lot of them, you can move that pad up and down, so you won't get the full stretch if you just try to do someone else's setup.
You beat me to it. At Planet Fitness, I set it up at a full stretch, and I'm under load. So the weight stack's not touching while I'm at a full stretch. I can't do that on post. They don't have that adjustment. But at Planet Fitness, the weight is up. I'm at a full stretch. Do the leg curl. Go back down. The weight's still up. The load is still on the hamstring. If you can find the machine to do that, that's what you want.
See, I don't like that because like my knees are bent the wrong way, and it's just like, oh, this might end badly. But you definitely get full stretch.
It is putting pressure on your knees to go the wrong way, but that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, maybe if I'm up the weight like crazy, I feel like I'm gonna dislocate my legs, but I don't.
Don't do that.
I just feel the stretch, and then curl it right back up. If it felt any strenuous on my knees, I wouldn't do it, or I wouldn't recommend it either.
Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff, y'all. I appreciate everyone tuning in. And you guys can keep hitting us with questions. We'll keep answering them. But hopefully you enjoyed today's topic on eccentric training. I think it's a really fun technique to intensify what you're doing. I think it directly leads to hypertrophy. So all good stuff for sure.
What's the name?
Keatson.
Been training exactly to your videos.
Yes.
Great content. Love you both. Oh, that's great
you.
feedback. Appreciate that very much.
And if there's videos that you guys want us to film, just toss us a comment on any video. We read every single comment and we respond to every single comment that someone puts on there. So if you put it on any video, we will see it. And we will get that filmed for you.
Listen, y'all, I must say we try to hit every single. There might be a comment on an old video that slips through, but we try to respond to every single one of them. We're pretty diligent about it, but every once in a while there might be a comment that slips through.
That's like a technology glitch.
It might be. It might be. But, you know, like Camille said, do your negatives. Every single rep should have a negative portion to it. That's a perfect rep. And then sprinkle in the forced reps and the actual negatives in there as intensifying techniques, and you will blow up.
Sounds good. Well, all right, y'all. I think that's all we have for you today. Thanks for tuning in. You know, definitely check out our Instagram page. Send Suzanne some love as she gets ready to go into the NPC Warrior Classic. She's definitely gonna do really good. So I'm really excited for her. All right, we got one last question.
Hot Donnie, what's the difference between slow and controlled? They're the same. Well, maybe.
That's a good question.
So controlled would be nice and smooth, no jerking movements. Lift the weight smooth all the way up, all the way down. No jerking, no momentum, no nothing. Slowing the rep down would be like a static hold. So instead of lowering it for 3 seconds, you're lowering it to 30 to 40 seconds. That to me would be the difference.
So to me, controlled means like, yes, you're able to do it at the right tempo, but you're using the right muscle groups too. You're not letting something else compensate. You're using the prime muscle mover that you're intending to. Because a lot of times I can be doing like side delt raises, and if I don't have control, my traps are lifting that weight up and down. So to me, that's what the difference is. Hot, Donnie.
Yeah, even on a curl, if you're going too heavy, you're going to recruit your back, your traps, all kinds of stuff, right? That's not controlled either because you're jerking the weight up. You use the momentum. If you're using the right amount of weight, you should be doing control. You should be doing that target muscle and only that target muscle. All right, Angel says, keep lifting, keep living, keep laughing.
I love that.
See you next time. Sounds good, Angel. Get your negative on and get on that gain train, y'all.